What a beautiful day here at Lake Manitou. The fact is, we haven't had an election here at Ivry for mayor since anyone can remember. And some of you might be asking, why change now? My family have been cottagers here for over 3 generations, but it wasn't until I moved here permanently 2 years ago and started attending council meetings regularly, monthly in fact, that I realized there were issues of concern. The first wake-up call for me was when I was working for the regional authority, the MRC des Laurentides, on regulations concerning Lac Supérieur, and the planning director said to me in passing that he thought Ivry's regulations were mediocre at best. I thought, Ivry mediocre? Come on, that really rankled. Our special place not well protected? Us vulnerable? But the real wake-up call for me was the Projet Forget. And in case you're not familiar with that, that's a project for 35 units of approximately 1 acre lots straddling a wetland that was the subject of public concern a year ago last winter. As I discovered, it was not just our regulations that were out of date, but that non-compliant projects were being submitted. Thanks partly to my drawing attention to actual regulations that applied to the project that were already in place, the project's impact on the wetland was reduced, the number of units reduced from 35 to 25. We also succeeded in protecting the historic Jackrabbit Johansson ski trail that traversed the property and would have been blocked. But Council still approved a variance allowing the access road to be 150 feet closer to the wetland than prescribed by law. Following the Projet Forget, I was struck by the incomplete regulatory revision process and by numerous citizens' concerns regarding roads, regarding erosion, site clearing, water quality, and the application of regulations. More disturbing than the unresolved issues themselves was the fact that the atmosphere at City Hall was unwelcoming and that council meetings were largely held in caucus with discussions by council in private. Further, councillors were rarely allowed to comment at the public council meetings. Because Ivry is one of the smallest communities, one of the smallest municipalities in Quebec, we can afford to be inclusive and to build community. Clearly, for me, it was not just a question of lobbying for further regulatory change or of considering becoming a councillor. As far as I was concerned, a change was needed at the top to build confidence in City Hall, to facilitate discussion, and to ensure responsible land use. So that's why I'm here. I really care about this place, as I'm sure you do too. I have the skill sets for the job. I'm a businesswoman, and I have 30 years in architecture, negotiating and getting things done with integrity in one of the toughest and perhaps most corrupt industries in Quebec, construction. I'm fiscally conservative with a critical eye for cost efficiencies and cost savings, and plenty of experience making and meeting budgets. I'm also an experienced educator with 17 years teaching at McGill University and a trained facilitator of group decision making. Because it's not just about bylaws, it's about the process that drives their creation. And it's about their application. It's also about building awareness. My aim is to make municipal affairs engaging and fun, to open council discussions to the public and build a strong community, to run things smoothly and cost-effectively with clear objectives and priorities, and to give due attention to protecting the quality of life we have here. I'm listening to your concerns, and I want to help you defend them. I want to build consensus I know it won't be easy. I'm fully aware of the factions and different perspectives here in the community. But I've learned from experience that it's much better to discuss issues up front than to sweep them under the carpet. I would like to have the opportunity to facilitate discussion here, to invite you, for instance, to a volunteer-run workshop next spring, with lots of good food, of course, to build a vision for the future of Lake Manitou and Ivry as a whole, to work together to identify objectives to guide decision-making. Whatever the lake or corner of the municipality, there are similar development concerns. Ivry has large wetlands to the north of Chemin du Lac de la Grise, the lungs of our territory, the safe harbor of so much wildlife, and the filter of our water. Yet those wetlands are not adequately protected despite the new regulations regarding off-lake development that have been put in place. Ivry is an attractive dormer community for people working in St. Agathe, with lot sizes the same as St. Agathe's for subdivisions 3 lots and under. Manitou and Lac de la Grise have extensive areas of untouched waterfront. They also have many small lots subdivided years ago that may soon find little cottages replaced by large homes. But there are important differences too, and different people involved. In Baie des Roches, for instance, there are road and erosion issues. It's an old road located too close to the lake, and we can't do anything about that, but we can establish maintenance standards and design guidelines for road widths, for instance. On and off lake, we're at a critical turning point, a critical tipping point regarding development. And we are responsible for the outcome, whether we get involved or not. So thank you again for listening to my perspective and for sharing your concerns with me individually. I am so glad to connect with you here today and to experience the warmth and diversity of this community as I go door to door on my campaign. I'm also encouraged that 5 out of 6 of the councillors running in this election have confirmed that they support me. There is indeed a groundswell of support. I invite you to join that groundswell and support my candidacy for mayor, to support inclusivity, responsible land use, and accountability, to keep our taxes low and our expectations high regarding our common future and this beautiful corner of the Laurentians that has been entrusted in our hands.